Sometimes life takes us down paths we can't fully understand. We lose something precious, face challenges we never expected, or feel as if everything around us is falling apart. But have you ever wondered, what if every struggle carries a hidden meaning? What if every loss, every mistake, and every sudden twist is actually part of a greater plan? Buddhism teaches us that nothing happens by chance. Every single moment, whether filled with joy or pain, has the power to shape us, to teach us, and to bring us closer to a deeper truth within ourselves. In today's video, we'll explore how to trust the flow of life, how to welcome whatever comes, and how to turn every obstacle into an opportunity for growth. Have you ever asked yourself, why is this happening to me? If so, stay with us until the very end, because the answer may forever change the way you see life. Pain is one of the most universal human experiences. No one can escape failure, loss, or disappointment. But what truly matters is not what happens to us, but how we respond to it. In Buddhist philosophy, suffering is not seen as punishment, nor as some cruel twist of fate. Instead, it is viewed as a hidden teacher, even if we can't recognize it right away. Every difficulty carries within it a profound lesson. When pain arrives, our first instinct is usually to resist. We wish it would disappear, that life could return to how it used to be, or that the discomfort would simply fade away. But what if suffering isn't here to break us? What if it's here to transform us? Just like fire refines, gold adversity strips away what is unnecessary and reveals our truest essence. The Buddha once taught, suffering is inevitable, but prolonged suffering's a choice. The difference lies in how we choose to face it. If we cling to our pain, it lingers. If we fight against it, it grows stronger. But if we learn to observe it without fear, we discover that inside every painful experience lies a seed of wisdom waiting to bloom. There is an old Buddhist story that illustrates this truth. A disciple once complained to his master about how unfair life felt. He believed that everything was against him, that nothing ever worked out in his favor. The master listened quietly, then asked him to bring a handful of salt. When the disciple returned, the master told him to drop the salt into a small glass of water. The disciple took a sip from the small glass, and his face twisted in disgust. The water was unbearably bitter. Without a word, the master led him to a lake. He asked the disciple to throw the same handful of salt into the water, and then drink again. This time, the young man smiled. The water was fresh, pure, and gentle on the tongue. The master said softly, "Suffering in life is just like that salt. The amount never changes, but the container does. If your heart is as small as a cup, the bitterness will overwhelm you. But if your spirit becomes wide and open like a lake, the pain will dissolve into something much greater. This simple story carries a profound truth. Suffering consumes us only when we let it fill every corner of our being. When we widen our perspective, when we understand that each event is only a part of life's bigger picture, the pain no longer dominates us. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can shift the question to, "What is this trying to teach me?" So often, the darkest chapters of our lives lead to our greatest breakthroughs. What once seemed like a tragedy may later reveal itself as a hidden blessing. Losing a job may push us toward a more meaningful career. The end of a relationship may teach us the true value of self-love. And sometimes, a personal crisis can awaken us to a brand new way of living. Buddhism encourages us to see suffering as a chance for growth. It's not about seeking pain, but about realizing that when it arrives, it is not here to destroy us. It is here to shape us. Every challenge forces us to develop new strengths, patience, resilience, compassion. It reveals the parts of ourselves that still need healing and grants us the chance to transform. To put this into practice, the next time you face a challenge, don't just resist it. Pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this moment to grow? What is this pain revealing about me? The truth is, suffering is a natural part of human life, but it doesn't have to define us. Once we accept its lessons, we stop seeing it as an enemy and begin using it as a tool for evolution. In the end, every trial we face is just another step along the path of awakening. Without chaos, there can be no transformation. Without discomfort, there can be no growth. Comfort may feel safe, but rarely does it push us to become who we were meant to be. As human beings, we often cling to what feels safe. We hold on to the familiar, avoid risks, and choose the comfort of stability over the uncertainty of change. But in Buddhist wisdom, one lesson is crystal clear. Without disruption, there can be no transformation. It is often the very moments that shake us to our core that become the spark for real growth. A crisis, though painful, is life's wake-up call. It pulls us out of our routines, pushes us beyond our limits, and forces us to question everything we thought we knew. Without those disruptions, we might never challenge our old beliefs, develop new skills, or step onto paths we would have otherwise ignored. In its infinite wisdom, life uses adversity as a tool for our evolution. Think of a seed. If it only rests on the surface of the earth, basking in sunlight and fresh air, but never buried, it will never become a tree. Only when it is pushed into the dark soil, broken apart from within, and forced to struggle upward toward the light, can it grow strong. The process is hard, but it is the only way life emerges. We are no different. Without the breaking points, without those inner struggles, we would never have the chance to unlock our true potential. There's a Buddhist story that illustrates this beautifully. A disciple once asked his master why life had to be so hard. Instead of answering, the master led him into a forest where they saw a butterfly struggling to escape its cocoon. Moved by compassion, the disciple gently tore the cocoon open, freeing the butterfly. But its wings were too weak, and it could never fly. The master explained, "The struggle to break free is what strengthens its wings. Without that effort, the butterfly will never soar." And so it is with us. Life's challenges are what give us strength. Each difficulty pushes us to adapt, to grow, and to discover new ways of moving forward. Without moments of chaos, we would stay trapped in our comfort zones, never evolving into who we are meant to become. Buddhism teaches us to see chaos not as a curse, but as an opportunity. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can ask, "What change is this trying to bring into my life?" Looking back, most of our personal growth didn't happen during times of peace. It came from the storms that forced us to rise. If we look back, we'll realize that true growth has rarely come from times of comfort. It is crisis that teaches us the value of what we had. Failure forges resilience. Unexpected changes push us onto paths we never would have dared to choose on our own. Accepting chaos doesn't mean enjoying pain. It simply means recognizing that upheaval is a natural part of life's journey. When we stop resisting and begin to flow with change, we uncover a hidden strength we never knew we carried. Life is not about avoiding challenges. It's about learning to use them as stepping stones. Every crisis is an invitation to evolve. And if we trust the process, we will see that after every storm, a new version of ourselves emerges stronger, wiser, and freer. In Buddhism, there is a profound concept called Dharma, the invisible order of the universe. At times, life feels completely out of control. Plans collapse, obstacles appear out of nowhere, and we begin to doubt the path we are on. Yet Buddhist teachings remind us nothing in this universe happens by accident. Behind everything, there is a hidden order guiding all of existence. Dharma is the natural law that governs life itself. The quiet, perfect current where everything unfolds at exactly the right time, in exactly the right way, and for a greater purpose. There are no mistakes. There are no coincidences. Even the experiences we label as negative are part of a much larger harmony. Just look at nature. Seasons shift exactly when they should. Rivers flow without resistance. Trees grow tall without rushing. Nothing in nature asks, "Why is this happening?" It simply follows its course. But as human beings, we struggle. We demand life to match our expectations, and when it doesn't, we suffer. There is a Buddhist story that captures this truth. A man was caught in a fierce storm at sea. He fought the waves with every ounce of strength, desperate to stay afloat. Yet the harder he resisted, the quicker he sank. Exhausted, he finally surrendered and allowed himself to float. In that moment, the current gently carried him back toward shore. This is the way Dharma works. When we stop resisting and trust the flow of life, we often find our way with far less suffering. This doesn't mean we should be passive. It means letting go of rigid control and learning to move in harmony with the natural order of existence. Many people assume that Dharma means everything is predetermined, that life is already written, and we are just passive players. But in truth, it's the opposite. Dharma calls us to act with awareness, to make choices that align with our true essence. Often, suffering arises when we drift away from our purpose. Life sends us subtle signals, and when we ignore them, obstacles appear, forcing us to realign with who we really are meant to be. Buddhist teachings remind us when something leaves our life, it is because it no longer serves our growth. When challenges appear, they are preparing us for the next chapter. And when something is delayed, it simply means the timing isn't right yet. Dharma shows us that everything unfolds in its own rhythm, perfectly timed, neither early nor late. You can't force a flower to bloom before its season. You can't make the sun rise any faster. The same is true of our personal journeys. We often crave quick answers. We want the pain to disappear instantly. We want change to come now. But life has its own rhythm. And when we learn to trust that rhythm, we are freed from anxiety and frustration. Understanding that everything happens for a reason allows us to stop viewing difficulties as punishments. Instead, we begin to see them as opportunities. If something isn't working, instead of fighting against it, we can ask, "What is this here to teach me?" Time and again, what feels like a painful loss today may later reveal itself as exactly what we needed for our growth. trusting in life's invisible order brings peace even in times of uncertainty. Each of us has a unique path. We cannot compare our journey with anyone else's. What is right for another person may not be right for us. That is why listening to our inner voice, following our intuition, and embracing change with openness is the way to walk in harmony with Dharma. We are not here by accident. Every encounter, every experience, every decision is part of a greater balance. When we trust that everything happens in its perfect time, we stop living in fear and start living with true purpose. The illusion of control, learning to trust, life's flow. From the time we are children, we are taught to seize control of our lives. We are told that if we work hard, plan carefully, and make the right choices, things will go our way. But sooner or later, life reveals a very different truth. No matter how carefully we plan, life has a way of slipping through our fingers. A relationship that once felt secure suddenly falls apart. A job we thought would last vanishes overnight. Plans that seemed flawless collapse for reasons we can't explain. When things don't go as we hoped, frustration, anxiety, and fear take hold. We ask ourselves, what did I do wrong? Why is everything falling apart when I tried so hard to make it right? This is where Buddhist wisdom reveals a powerful truth. Control is an illusion. Nothing in life is ever truly certain. We may believe we can create stability, but life moves according to its own rhythm, independent of our expectations or carefully drawn plans. The problem is that the human mind craves certainty. It longs for guarantees. It wants to know exactly what will happen and when. And when life refuses to deliver those guarantees, we panic. There's a Buddhist story that illustrates this beautifully. A king once asked his 3 advisors why life was so unpredictable. The first said, "It is all a matter of luck." The second replied, "It comes from the choices we made in the past." The third said nothing. Instead, he led the king to a river and asked him to stop the water with his hands. The king tried, but no matter how hard he pushed, the current kept flowing. The advisor then said, "Life is like this river. You can try to control it, but in the end, it will move in the way it must. The only choice you truly have is to learn how to flow with it." Suffering often comes from clinging to the idea of how we think life should be. We tell ourselves, "I'll only be happy if I reach this goal. I'll only be safe if nothing changes. I'll only be at peace if life stays exactly as I want it." But life has never worked that way. The tighter we hold on, the harder it becomes to move with the flow. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up or becoming passive. It means understanding that while we can take action, make choices, and do our best, we cannot force life to follow our script. We release our grip on the outcome, and in doing so, we free ourselves. In Buddhism, there is a practice called Wu Wei, translated as effortless action or non-doing. But it doesn't mean sitting idly and doing nothing. Instead, it means moving in harmony with the natural flow of life. It is the art of aligning our actions with the current of existence, so we no longer waste energy resisting what cannot be changed, but instead channel our strength into flowing gracefully with the rhythm of the universe. Instead of forcing ourselves to push against the current, we learn to move with it. Instead of resisting what is inevitable, we adapt with grace and flow with whatever life brings. When we begin to trust that life is guiding us where we need to be, anxiety slowly fades. We stop obsessing over what might happen tomorrow and start living fully in the here and now. We come to see uncertainty not as a threat, but as a natural, even necessary part of the journey. One powerful practice is to reflect on the past. How many times did life not go according to plan? Yet something far better emerged. Perhaps the end of a relationship led you to deeper self-discovery. The loss of a job may have opened the door to a more meaningful career. A painful failure might have revealed an inner strength you never knew existed. When we let go of the illusion of control, we stop living in fear. We no longer feel the need to manage every little detail of life. Instead, we learn to trust in our own strength to face whatever comes. This doesn't mean life will suddenly be easy, but it does mean that even in the middle of chaos, peace is possible. Life is not something to control, it's something to live. When we stop resisting the natural flow, we discover a calm and clarity we never imagined. From childhood, we're taught to take charge of our lives, that if we work hard, plan carefully, and make the right choices, everything will fall into place. But sooner or later, life shows us a different truth. No matter how much we prepare, some things will still slip away. A relationship we believed was unshakable may collapse. A job we thought was secure may vanish. Plans that once seemed flawless may suddenly fail for reasons beyond our understanding. When that happens, we ask ourselves, what did I do wrong? Why is everything falling apart? Yet in those very moments, Buddhism offers us a profound reminder. Control is only an illusion. Life is never completely certain. We may think we're building stability, But in reality, everything moves according to its own rhythm. The problem isn't life itself. It's our mind endlessly craving guarantees that simply do not exist. The human mind craves certainty. It wants guarantees, wants to know exactly what will happen and when. And when life doesn't hand us those guarantees, panic sets in. There's a Buddhist story that illustrates this truth. A king once asked his 3 advisors why life seemed so unpredictable. The first replied, "It's all just luck." The second said, "It's the result of past choices." But the third remained silent. Instead, he led the king to a river and asked him to try to stop the water with his hands. The king tried, but no matter what he did, the river kept flowing. The advisor smiled and said, "Life is like this river. You may try to control it, but in the end, it will flow where it must. The only real choice you have is to learn how to move with it." Much of our suffering comes from clinging to rigid expectations about how life should be. We tell ourselves, "I'll only be happy if I reach this goal. I'll only feel safe if nothing changes." But life has never worked that way. The tighter we cling, the harder it becomes to move with the flow. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up or becoming passive. It means realizing that while we can act, choose, and give our best, we cannot force life to follow the script we've written. We give our effort, then release our grip on the outcome. In Buddhist philosophy, there is a practice called Wu Wei, translated as effortless action or non-doing, but it does not mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means moving in harmony with life's natural current. Instead of fighting the stream, we learn to swim with it. Instead of fearing what is bound to come, we adapt and respond with grace. When we trust that life will always carry us where we need to be, anxiety fades. We stop worrying about tomorrow and start living fully in the present. We accept uncertainty not as a threat, but as a natural and essential part of our journey. A helpful practice is to reflect on your own life. How many times did plans fall apart only to make way for something better? Perhaps a relationship ended and led you to deeper self-discovery. Losing a job may have opened the door to a career with more meaning. A failure you once feared may have revealed a strength within you that you didn't know was there. When we release the illusion of control, we free ourselves from living in constant fear. We stop trying to manage every detail of life, and instead, we trust our ability to handle whatever comes our way. This doesn't mean life will suddenly become easy, but it does mean we can find peace even in the midst of uncertainty. Life is not something we command. It is something we learn to live. When we stop resisting the natural flow, we discover a clarity and serenity we never thought possible, even in the darkest moments. Serenity in uncertainty, finding peace in the unknown. Life is full of surprises. In just a moment, everything can shift. One day, we feel stable. The next day, a job is gone, a relationship ends, or a challenge arrives out of nowhere. Uncertainty is the only constant. Yet instead of accepting it, most of us fight against it. We chase safety, seek control, and demand guarantees. But change is the one thing we can never escape. Buddhism teaches that peace doesn't come from eliminating uncertainty. It comes from learning to live with it. We cannot stop life from changing, but we can choose how to respond. We can find calm even when nothing feels secure. Picture yourself in a small boat drifting in the open ocean. If you try to control the waves, you'll wear yourself out. But if you learn to ride with them, to move with the current instead of against it, you'll realize you can survive even the roughest seas. Uncertainty is much the same. We cannot stop it from moving, but we can learn how to sail through it. There's a Buddhist story about a monk who lived high in the mountains. One day, a villager rushed up to him and warned, "A great storm is coming. You must leave before it's too late." The monk smiled and calmly replied, "If the storm comes, I will welcome it." Alarmed, the villager cried, "But you could die." The monk simply said, "If I die, I will accept death. If I live, I will accept life. Whatever happens, I will accept it." This doesn't mean we should be careless or ignore ways to stay safe. It means letting go of the fear of what we cannot control. The fear of uncertainty often comes from doubting our own strength to face the unknown. But the truth is, we've already survived every challenge life has thrown at us so far. And that is proof enough that we can continue forward no matter how uncertain the path ahead may seem. Every challenge life places before us is proof that we are capable of moving forward. And often, it's the unexpected turns that bring opportunities we never imagined. Losing a job may push us toward a more meaningful career. The end of a relationship may open the door to deeper self-understanding. A sudden hardship may force us to grow in ways we never thought possible. When life changes our plans, perhaps it is preparing us for something far greater. One powerful way to find peace in uncertainty is to ask yourself, how many times in the past has something that seemed painful at first, later revealed itself as a blessing? Do I truly need to have all the answers right now? Am I so focused on a future that hasn't yet arrived, that I'm missing the present moment. Life is always moving, and when we fight against that flow, we only create more suffering. Accepting uncertainty doesn't mean abandoning your goals or dreams. It means trusting that no matter what happens, you will find your way through. Peace doesn't come from knowing every answer. It comes from learning how to live with the questions. It's not about predicting tomorrow. It's about trusting that whatever comes, you will be able to face it. Nothing in life is ever fully certain. But when we release our fear of the unknown, we discover a deep and liberating freedom. Instead of worrying about what might happen, we begin living fully in the present. And this is the true path to awakening. How every experience brings us closer to enlightenment. Life often feels unpredictable. We face struggles, losses, and changes we never asked for. Yet within each of these moments lies a hidden lesson. Buddhism teaches us that every experience, no matter how painful or unclear, is part of our journey toward awakening. Enlightenment is not some distant goal. It is not something we must search for outside of ourselves. It is already within us, waiting to be recognized. And every single moment of life, especially the most difficult ones, is an invitation to wake up, to see things as they truly are, without fear or resistance. Think back to the times when you grew the most. They were probably not the easiest moments, but the hardest. They were the times life pushed you, tested you, and forced you to look deeper. That is the real path to awakening. Not a sudden flash of revelation, but a continuous unfolding, forged through each challenge we endure. Awakening is not a sudden flash of light, but a steady journey of discovery, a process of slowly understanding yourself and your place in this world. When we stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin asking, "What can I learn from this?" everything begins to shift. We move from feeling like victims to becoming students of life. Every challenge transforms into a teacher. Every setback becomes an invitation to grow. So if life feels heavy for you right now, if you're facing something you don't yet understand, trust that it is part of your path. Nothing is wasted. Nothing happens without meaning. Everything unfolding is shaping you into the person you are meant to become. If today's message resonated with you, I invite you to join this community. Hit that subscribe button so we can continue exploring these timeless teachings together. And I'd love to hear from you. What lesson from this video stayed with you the most? Share it in the comments. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Thank you for watching. May you find serenity in the flow of life. And I'll see you in the next video.